Afternoon, Coach. How are you?
Good, Jamie. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. So just saw not too long ago an announcement, Coach Cooper being named or reinstated or renamed as the edge coach and the defensive run game coordinator, and then Coach Malone as a defensive assistant. So just kind of off that, is the plan to bring in another cornerbacks coach? And then what's the status of Coach Banker?
Yeah, well, I'll start there. Coach Banker was offered a contract to stay. He's a valued member of this team and this organization and this program the last couple of years. And, I think just due to some personal reasons, he's not going to be staying with us. But Mark has been a mentor of mine, someone that I've relied on the last couple of years, and he's done an amazing job, and he'll always be welcome at our program. But I think there's a lot of sunshine and golf in his future, and he's been in this game for over 40 plus years. And even our short time together, I consider Mark a friend. So I think it was due to personal reasons that he won't be staying on staff. And Coach Malone, I think has really proven over our time, together in our past and then obviously in the present to be very capable of doing a variety of different things, so I think Jordan is going to give us some flexibility with our next hire, whether that's corners for somebody else or Jordan stays at corners or he moves to safeties. It's going to give us an opportunity to be very flexible with our next hire.
So just to kind of confirm based off that, there is still the possibility that Coach Malone will coach a specific position group next year?
Absolutely. He'll be in the back end. It'll be corners or it'll be safeties, nickels. It just defines out on the last piece that we end up putting together, and AJ, I've been with Coach Cooper for a long time, so our relationship has obviously grown since we were both GAs at North Dakota State. And, what I see behind the scenes that he brings to that room in a variety of different ways. So his elevated status to be the defensive run game coordinator, I think is well earned. And I think our production at the defensive line and how our guys have grown up front is a lot due to what he's been able to do, on and off the field working with our guys.
And then will the last spot be kind of filled with a tight ends H-backs coach?
Yep. We're hoping to announce that by the end of the week. Excited about the progress where we are. It's going to be tight ends, and he's going to be the majority of the special teams coordinator. We will have Coach Cooper as well do some of our special teams. We're going to divide that up a little bit more than we have in the past. But the coach that we're going to bring in is going to be the face of it, the energy of it, and do the bulk of it. And Coach Cooper, who's well capable, and I've seen him do it in the past, will be part of it.
All right, our next question, Colton Clark, spokesman review. Go ahead, Colton.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good, Colton. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much. So I guess a lot of quarterback news in the past couple of days. First thing I guess Cameron Ward, the new guy, is the first question. Assume he's the kind of a plug-and-play guy. What does he bring to the offense, I guess, aside from his knowledge, first of all?
Well, I think there's definitely, a comfortability with what Cam brings. And I'll start here, guys, is that I think my job is to make our program one of the most competitive places in the country. And one of our core pillars is going to be competition. And I believe competition brings out the best in everybody. And that's at the quarterback position. That's at D tackle, O-line, running back, wide receiver, coaching staff. When you're competing to be your best daily, I think that's when we get our greatest growth, right? So Cam was always part of that, and just excited to really get to know him. Obviously, there's a familiarity in our offense and where we're going to go. And, the progression of a young quarterback, the more you're comfortable, the more you understand, the more you can take an offense and really take off with it. And I think he's got a special skill set. But what I've been gravitated the most about Cam is his leadership, his confidence, the way that I believe that he can bring a locker room together, and he's going to have a lot of work to do. And that's going to be an exciting part to watch him grow within our team, so there's a lot of work ethic comes with that. There's a lot of, taking the guys out to dinner and being around and just growing in those relationships that I think he really specializes in, and then I think you turn the tape on, and the throws that he makes, regardless of level, I think are special. And I think he's got a lot of upside within our program. So just excited to add him to the mix and to get him here and really get all those guys rolling and build that relationship together.
And then, obviously Jaden DeLaura. So this is kind of a multi-part question here. How long did you know he was being recruited by Arizona? And can you speak on why he left? Was there a falling out of some kind? Something happened during the bowl game. There's been rumors going around about a situation at halftime. Could you just speak on his departure?
Yeah, I mean, I would really like to put all that to bed. There's been no situation, that's happened, and I just wish Jaden the best, and he felt like a new situation was what's best for him, and I wish him the best of luck as he moves on to the next phase.
All right, next question, Brenna Green, Creme TV. Go ahead, Brenna.
Hi, Coach Dickert. Kind of following up on that Jaden question. There's also been a lot of rumors about him being a student, that he may have not been able to be a student at WSU next semester. Do you know if he was able to be a student at WSU next semester?
Yeah, in order to transfer and be eligible to play, you got to be eligible, and that's the situation that he's in. So nothing from our end on that.
And just in terms of your offensive line, do you guys what are your kind of thoughts on that position group right now, since you guys are losing a considerable amount there?
Well, I think it's the offense as a whole. Like I've said this, Brenna, too, the moment I sat in this chair, is that we need to rebuild this roster, right? We need to re-energize this program. We need to refocus everyone from the top down. And that doesn't happen in 1 week. It just doesn't. And it's been a focus of ours. We're entered into a new world of college football, and the portal has really changed that, and it's changed the whole landscape, and it's not just our program. It's a lot of programs out there where you could lose a position group and there's nothing that you can do about it. And you got to keep working to fix it. So we're working hard to fix it. There's going to be a mixture of guys that we're vetting as transfer players, but there's also going to be guys that we're excited to see these last 3 weeks to really develop young guys in our program, because I think it's the number one position that needs development, and that's the offensive line. So we're on a bunch of big, long bodies that we can put weight on and size and be physical and still be true to our developmental process. Programs, you're either going to be a talent acquisition program in the portal, or you're going to be a developmental program. And what I want to do with our program, it's going to be a little bit of a mixture, but I want to be a developmental program where we find the right guys for Washington State. And I understand the need to win up front and how important that's going to be to our program. But at the same time, we got to get it right. So we're not going to take guys. It's an intense world out there in recruiting, and we're going to be busting our tails to get this thing right. So this is a rebuild of a roster. We still have a lot of spots to fill, and we have an active next 3 weeks until the second signing day, but a very active spring and summer to make sure our roster is as good as that we can be.
And just from your perspective, what was kind of the timeline of Cam coming in and Jaden leaving the program?
What was my timeline of it?
Yeah, just kind of like, Cam getting offered, Jaden leaving, how that all went down.
Well, I think there's a window that the NCAA created where you can visit players 7 days before you start school, right? So that was kind of our window that we were always shooting for, and getting an opportunity to get him and his family on campus. And that was kind of our timeline of it.
Thank you.
All right, as a reminder, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll call on you. Jamie Vinnick, go ahead.
Coach, you should know me well enough to know that I'm never done asking you questions.
I know, Jamie, it's good.
So just kind of, with all the transfers that have happened, some attrition here and there, do you kind of anticipate getting to that 32-man threshold for this class with the 25 high school and JUCO guys and the 7 transfer guys?
I do. And here's my focus, though, Jamie, is I want to retain our team. I think retaining the team and putting value in our guys. We've hired a lot of new staff, new people around the building, but this is our team. I want to make sure our coaching staff understands that these are our guys. We're going to pour into them. We're going to develop them. We're going to add to it. We're going to, make sure we have a competitive environment like I talked about, and we're going to love these guys. And, but I anticipate getting, as many as we can up to get to that 32 threshold. And, the NCAA is looking at a lot of different things of, maybe just going to an open 85. So we'll see how the spring evolves, because like I said, as the college landscape is drastically changing, we need to change with it. And the big part is the recruiting piece, and putting caps on initials has been part of a hard discussion that we continue to talk about.
And just kind of in regard to Cameron Ward, he's one of 4 transfers you guys have right now, along with Jordan Lee, Nusi Milani, Dion Henley. Have all those 4 guys started classes and arrived in Pullman?
Yes, I mean Cam's en route right now, but those guys, we really have our first academic meeting tonight where the team's going to be at. We pushed the start of school back a couple of days, so anticipate everybody being here. They're here. I've had a chance to see them and meet with them, and just excited for them to really get going next week in our workouts.
And then with Jaden, Cam, and Jarrett, and Cam Cooper, I should say, and Jarrett all moving on. Obviously, Cam Ward comes in. How many more quarterbacks do you anticipate adding in this offseason?
We're definitely targeting at least one more young high school player, and then potentially another one that fits us and fits our situation and our system and wants to come and compete.
And then just last thing, quarterback and offensive line, I think you've talked about are some of the biggest needs and kind of shoring up the depth there. What other positions are you really looking to kind of add some depth to?
Well, that'll be still finding the right wide receivers. We didn't sign one in the first signing day. I think we got a good depth of wide receiver, especially with Renard coming back and Stribb's progress and everything that we feel like we can do with the group of guys. And Lincoln obviously has emerged as a guy that we know can play at this level, Joey Holbert. So, there's some depth there that we're excited about, but let's keep building for the future. And then obviously the tight end H-back position will be a progressive thing as we go really throughout our program. But adding one or potentially two more of those guys will be big. And then, finding another one or two running backs, both young and potentially in the portal for guys to come in and be able to compete with Nakia and obviously build around Nakia and what we can do in our run game. So a lot of the focus is on offense. We'll probably continue to look at young defensive line pieces that we can add. I think you can never have too many of those guys to develop and grow in your program. So there's a lot of things that we're still working on as we're putting together the staff and finishing towards the second signing day into the spring.
All right, next question, Colton Clark. Go ahead, Colton.
You mentioned Lincoln Victor, and that just got me thinking, were there a couple of guys put on scholarship recently, or is that something you can announce?
No, not yet. Not yet. Those are things that we're still sorting through, but we're excited. We feel like there's a couple guys on our roster that have really earned those type of situations. We're not ready to announce those just yet at this time, but there are a couple guys that fit the criteria of, what we feel is rewarding our players first. The guys that, walk-on is going to be an important part of our program because I think they add tremendous value and they continue to learn and grow. And I think Lincoln is one of those guys that has really proved himself to do a lot of great things.
And, I don't know how easy to answer, but I'm wondering, first season as a head coach, was there something, that you learned this year about this job that you didn't expect?
Well, and we're still getting into it, but I would say, on typically average, you have this nice, beautiful schedule set out. And then on average, there's about 4 or 5 things per day that just get thrown into your lap and you got to handle them and you got to be able to adjust and move. And, so there's a lot of those things that just come up that are different from being just a coordinator and just worrying about, your unit and your coaches and your plan and your mindset. So it's wide ranging, but there's always something that comes up that kind of makes my day fun and interesting. I'll tell you that.
And, in this day and age, obviously the transfer portal, it's, a huge part of it. Were you surprised at all by the amount of transfers on your guys' side, or was that maybe something that you expected a little bit more? What with the coaching change and everything, was it something that you were kind of planning for in advance?
Well, I think there's a little bit of a plan for it. I think everybody has their individual situation, just like opt-outs in bowl games or transfers. There's some things that, you can foresee and some things that you can't. And everyone has their individual situation that we always constantly discuss. And there's always has to be a plan and, just kind of know what's next for a program. But I mean it, this is starting new. This is a new Wazoo. Right. This 22 team is starting fresh and starting new. We're turning the page and we're moving forward. And this will be our first team meeting tonight. And we're excited about that. And I think that's something that all our guys share. And this is our team. I meant when I said that it's really important to have a player driven team. We'll set the messages as coaches. We'll set the tone. We'll set the energy. But from within, right, there's got to be a lot of buy-in and accountability and discipline and details within a team. So we're starting fresh, we're starting new, and we're excited to coach the guys that want to be here and be a part of it. That's a big part of coaching. That's a big part of Washington State. Being a Cougar is special, right? And I'm just excited about this opportunity with this team, with this coaching staff. And I know we haven't talked about Coach Filani and Coach Mark and Coach McGuire and Coach Pete, just other pieces that we've added to this puzzle that I think is just a great coaching staff, ones that are dedicated to the guys. They're excited about being here. A lot of them have experience here, but there's an energy and a passion and a fire that we just can't wait to work with these guys, right? So that's what I feel in this business or this building right now. And we're excited about everybody that wants to be a part of it. And that's all that we can control is the men in this building and the men in our program. So I know that's a long answer to it, but I'm just excited to get going of being something new. And I think there can be something special here.
All right. If you have questions, please raise your hand and we'll call on you. Brenna Green, Creme TV, go ahead.
Hello again. So, there's obviously with NIL now, things are just so crazy and insane. I know that there was some sort of NIL deal put together for Cam. Just kind of what was your experience like with that at all? Just doing that with a quarterback.
Well, I think NLI is changed the game, and it's a positive thing. And, I encourage all of our guys and all of our supporters to engage with our guys to be able to do those things. But as the head coach, I can't facilitate those and be involved in those or, really, really help our guys directly do any of those things. So I'm excited, though, about our people and for all of our players to be able to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness. I think is an important part of college athletics going forward. And there's no better way than, to advertise something, to have some of our guys do that for people's businesses. And I'm just excited about where that can go in the future for our guys, because I think that's going to be a big part of it.
I'm sorry to go back to this, but my Twitter's been blowing up all over it all morning. So I'm just going to ask at the halftime at the Sun Bowl, was that a decision by your coaching staff to remove Jaden, or did Jaden remove himself from the game?
No, I mean, I think after all injuries, I'm in very direct communication with our athletic training staff, and I think they've done an amazing job all season. And that's an athletic training issue. That's a medical issue. And when they come out of halftime, they tell me they're taking him for x-rays and he's unavailable for the second half. We just move on and we keep playing and we just keep going. So, we didn't flinch. Victor Gabalis didn't flinch. The coaching staff didn't flinch. They told me he was unavailable and we moved on and we kept pressing. So that's the information I have. And I take that at, what it's worth. And our people are out here to compete. And I think that's an important part of this. All of our guys are out there to give the best. And I think what we did in the second half of that Sun Bowl really shows our character too within our program.
Thank you.
Next question, Jamie Vinnick. Go ahead, Jamie.
Coach, just want to confirm one more thing, and then I'll leave you alone. But you said earlier with the tight ends and the H-backs, Coach, that you have a guy. Is that announcement going to be coming later this week?
Yep, that'll be sometime later this week, and you guys will be the first to know.
Oh, Coach, I appreciate the honor. Thank you.
All right, last chance. Any other questions for Coach Dickert?
I do have one thing before I close. I just want to make sure everyone too, because, the Sun Bowl was late and didn't get a proper chance to do this, but I do want to thank the 2021 team and everything that group was able to accomplish. Even though we didn't finish our goal of being champion and winning the Sun Bowl, it was an amazing experience. But it doesn't take away from the heart, the passion, the commitment. That team is real Cougs. And I know there's a lot of people out there in Coug Nation that are just really excited about what that team represented, the adversity that we all dealt with and pushed through. And I'm just really proud of those guys. And I didn't get an opportunity, really taking a couple of days off, even for myself and my family, to really thank that 2021 group. Those seniors, those captains, the members of that team. It's just an exciting group to be a part of. And, as we turn the page, it's one thing that I just wanted to make sure that we put an end to that season, and just thankful for all those guys, thankful for the coaches, thankful for the fans, because there's a lot of guys that have graduated from that team that are Hall of Famers here, that are Cougs for life. And I can't wait to incorporate not only the 2021 guys that graduated, but all former Cougs out there and alumni back to the program, and to give back and to talk to our guys. And it's just been an exciting season, an exciting opportunity, and I'm greatly indebted to all the coaches and the players that have helped me to get here, and excited about carrying on the program. So I just wanted to make sure those guys know, and that team, and it's out there, how proud I am of that team, the adversity that we went through, how we stuck together. And I believe the story of the 2021 team will live on in Cougar history for a long time. And the story will be about how our guys overcame adversity and how they pushed through and how they've just shown the spirit of a Coug is as strong as ever. So I just wanted to end with that and go Cougs.